Hello everybody, how's it going? We're talking about my favorite oud fragrances. Now I know summer is right around the corner, so some of these are not what you want to wear during summer days, but you could still rock them summer evenings, summer nights if you dare. The first one is Resala by Arabian Oud, and this is definitely something I would not touch in the summer at all, something that's better suited for the winter, the fall, but I don't wear this fragrance often. To be totally honest with you, I hardly wear it, but the reason it's on this list is because I really admire how this fragrance is blended and how strong it is. Like the concentration of the perfume oils in this fragrance literally make it last on my skin for 3 days. And yes, of course, I shower, and in Filipinos, we do this thing called dimpo and just like make sure we're clean and stuff like that. But this holds to my skin for so long. I remember the first time I wore this fragrance, the next day, somebody complimented me on it. They were like, whoa, you smell really good. And I'm like, damn, is this thing still pushing? So it definitely latches. I think the longest that this fragrance lasted on me with 3 sprays was 3 days. And I'm talking, I tried so hard to scrub this thing off, and it did not. So now I know that I'm only gonna spray it on clothes, but even with that, clothes last even longer. So you're probably gonna have to wash your clothes a lot before the scent of this actually comes out completely. Now, this fragrance smells like oud, rose, and I bit my tongue, and saffron, all right? And also in the dry down, there's some vanilla and there's chocolate, but I really don't find this fragrance to be a vanilla chocolate scent. The first 3 notes that I mentioned are completely dominant throughout the entire wear time of this fragrance. I'm like stumbling because that shit hurts. But yeah, Resala is a beast of a fragrance, something that totally dominates the room. Another time that I wore this, I remember I went somewhere and somebody on the other side of the room came up to me and was like, you smell so good, because they followed where the scent was coming from, and it was this thing right here. So if you really are looking for a show-stopping fragrance that's gonna turn heads, that performs really well, Resala is one that you might want to look into. And this is completely unisex. Does not matter who wears it. It just smells very rich. Now, how is this with, look, you know what, here's what I'll say. Even though this fragrance, it is pretty polarizing, right? Because that note oud, sometimes people love it, a lot of times people hate it, right? So when people that aren't into fragrances come and smell my collection and they stumble across this one because the bottle always draws a lot of attention, when they smell it from the bottle like this, they're kind of like, ooh, well, that's way too strong. And I'm like, do you like that? They're like, I don't like that, but that smells like a billionaire. Every single time people are like, that just smells like a really rich person. So if that is what you're aiming for, if that is what you are, and you want a fragrance that's representative of that, then I would look into Resala. Next is, come on now, I can't make this video without talking about oud wood. And some of you that are really into fragrances might laugh and be like, that's not a real oud fragrance, but I think that's honestly the reason why I love it so much. Because to be totally real with you, I am not the biggest fan of oud, because a lot of the times it smells like a barnyard. It stinks. It smells fecal. You know what I mean? And some people pride themselves in enjoying that scent, but for me, it's off-putting, right? And for a lot of people around me, I don't want to smell like shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that is the first thing a lot of people pick up. But with oud wood, it just smells like freshly blended wood. This is still, till this day, my favorite Tom Ford fragrance, because it still has that unique factor where when I wear this in public, they're like, damn, you smell really nice. I've never smelled a woody fragrance before. And just the way that this is, the closer you get to it, when people are coming towards my scent bubble, they're like, whoa, you smell really good. So this definitely still has something that a lot of other fragrances that most people wear in public do not, they're not familiar with. You know, they're used to the floral type of fragrances or the blue type of fragrances. And so with something like oud wood, it's still something that sets itself apart, but has that mass appealing factor. Resala is definitely more polarizing. This one is more mass appealing. And the performance I get with oud wood is pretty good. I still smell this on me past 6 to 7 hours because it holds to my skin nicely, but I do know that a lot of my subscribers do not have that same fortune with this fragrance. In fact, some of them say that it doesn't last after a couple hours. But the thing is, and I'll make a video about this topic, a lot of people tell me that these really high performing fragrances don't last on them, oud wood aside, right? But when I ask them how they spray it, they're like, you know, I apply it on my neck right here on like in this area. And it's like, of course, if you're spraying a fragrance there, your nose is going to get overstimulated. It's going to be very easy to get nose blind. So I feel like a lot of people get like, they're actually getting nose blind to their scent, but they think it's not like no longer on them. You know what I mean? Which is, if you ask somebody else, they're like, oh yeah, I still smell that on you, right? But anyways, oud wood, Tom Ford, an absolute beast of a fragrance in terms of just mass appeal, uniqueness. And yes, I still stand my ground. I think this is a unique fragrance because if you watch a lot of videos about fragrances, you're probably going to hear people super into the community say that it's overrated, right? Because it's popular in the fragrance community. But I want to emphasize to you all that what is popular in the fragrance community is not representative of how it is in real life. Because every single time I've worn this around people, they fucking love it. They cannot get enough of this. So oud wood, Tom Ford, an amazing scent. And lastly, I'm going to talk about my new favorite fragrance. It's called Oud Symphony by Precious Liquid. Now I'll put all the names of the fragrances, discount site links, and discount codes in the description so you guys can save some money. And if you want to support the channel, that would be great. But Oud Symphony is an amazing scent. It's kind of the best of both worlds that I just mentioned to you, where it has that beast mode factor of Resala that this can easily push past 12 hours. This isn't something that lasts, you know, over 3 days or 2 days like this one, but I have still smelled this on my skin after a day. So me saying 12 hours is this being on the safe side of things. And it also has the mass appeal, kind of like oud wood has, because this is a fragrance I have worn, I have tested around people, and it's just so intoxicating. If you're a fan of fruity fragrances, if you want to smell like passion fruit, you want to smell like black currant with some sexy rum sort of vibe and then some oud in the base to make this fragrance perform really well, then this is exactly what you're looking for. And I don't think I mentioned this, but oud wood is also a very unisex fragrance. If any ladies are watching, don't be put off if people are saying, oh, that's super masculine because it's woody. Because it's not. Like, you can easily pull it off if you wanted to. Now with Oud Symphony, this fragrance is just, it's stunning. It really is stunning. The first time that I smelled it, had to give it a second to kind of breathe. Of course, that's the thing with oud fragrances. I never really judge it immediately off the bat because it takes you in a different direction. But even with this, it was still really likable to me. But as it started to dry down, that magic was happening, and the passion fruit and that black currant are my favorite things about this fragrance because it makes my mouth water. It's just kind of like if you've ever been on a tropical vacation and you eat like a perfectly ripe fruit on a hot day, that's the equivalent of this fragrance. You know, when you take your first bite and you're like, holy shit, this is ripe. It's sweet, but still totally refreshing for a warm day. That's exactly how I feel about Oud Symphony. This isn't something I would wear on a hot summer day, but definitely as the sun's going down on a summer evening, if you're going to a party, if you're going to a black tie event, whatever the occasion is, this will smell so damn good. And it has an insane scent trail. It has something that when like you walk by, people are definitely going to just turn their head and kind of follow that smell because it's something that puts itself out there. It isn't a timid fragrance. It's not something that people will only notice when you step close to them. In fact, this is only from a sample vial, and I did about a couple sprays and it was still pushing. Now, my girlfriend actually put me onto this fragrance because she tried a sample of it, and within 10 minutes, she bought a full-size bottle. So now for her, she is somebody that oversprays fragrances over and over, even if it's sweet. Like, she likes to do that, right? But with Oud Symphony, she only does 2 sprays because that shit performs. And to me, that's eye-opening because it's like the only fragrance that she wouldn't dare to overspray, but you could still smell it on her. So yeah, this also a very unisex fragrance. The only reason that I have to keep my hands off it and I can't really wear it as much is because she already claimed it as one of her fragrances. But I mean, to anybody, like, it doesn't matter if you're a girl, a guy, whoever, if you just want to wear a fragrance that's going to stand out, You don't want to smell like anybody else, and you want that irresistible, mouth-watering type of scent that people are going to be like, holy shit, what are you wearing? You want that effect, you're going to get it with Oud Symphony. And this, hold on, let me just, like, my mouth, every time I smell this, my mouth kind of starts watering. So I don't even know if I would consider this a gourmand fragrance, because it doesn't smell that gourmand, but the way it makes me react is like a gourmand scent, you know? So that's always very interesting to me. Again, I'll put the discount site links and discount codes in the description. Feel free to use those if you want to get these for not resale price and save yourself some money. All right. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the love, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.